you to clarify is about the empowerment of the workers' committees. I don't know whether these workers' committees are the union committees or it is just the workers' committees of workers that are not unionized. That's the clarification I want you to make.
Well, in our sample of farms, there were 2 farms were unionized and the other were not unionized. And we realized that in both cases, there was clearly a better understanding of what the workers' committee or the union committee function was by the supervisors, and in some cases the supervisors have trained the workers' representative to on the policies to allow them to raise awareness with workers. So depends on whether the farm is unionized or not.
Another issue raised was the importance of women playing key roles in the trade unions here.
The first is our local partners are promoting unionisation. They're promoting recognition of unions on farms, and they're promoting membership numbers, women's committees, and particularly important, they're trying to organise CBAs in most farms, I think now.
When I just joined the union, and how I'd found myself in the union was specifically through a project also, the theme was to strengthen women to actively participate in union activities.
I'm a workers representative. I'm the chief shop steward and also the gender representative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you work, this is basically what he's been describing, this is where you work.
Yeah, this is my greenhouse now.
Okay.
This is my section now. Yeah.
In the 90s, women thought trade union is all about men. Because to them they thought, after knocking off, I have to go home and look after my family. And also they thought the men would speak on their behalf. But forgetting that even if maybe they are assumed they are being appointed, they want to be leaders, they were being victimized. So they had no that self-confidence in them speaking out and represent their fellow workers. At the same time also you'd find that issues pertaining to women, issues like sexual harassment, because women were not assertive to speak out. They'll be sexually harassed, but they can't speak out. They'll just withdraw themselves for fear of having their being dismissed from work, and also at times they had no support.
These women's committees were not aware they are not exposed on sexual harassment, what it involves and what steps they can take. So the women's committee have to be empowered so that they fight against sexual harassment at the workplace. And also they thought of having a policy, because we don't have a policy on sexual harassment at the workplace. And I'm glad that the management supported this idea of having a policy. The policy provides a guideline on how to address sexual harassment in the workplace. What is it? How does it happen? Who are involved in sexual harassment? And what can one do to address to fight against it? Maybe to report where to report, and what actions will be taken once a case on sexual harassment has been reported.
This is expected.
She says she starts her day at 7:30.
I've already seen the patients.
We've seen around 15 patients so far.
Yeah. We have referred them back. We have referred several to our hospital.
Main hospital.
Some have been taken. The vehicle takes them. Then they are brought back. This is
Sí, porque a veces los trabajadores están.
This is their radio. When they come for gym, this is their radio. These are their gym activities. Those are their walking sticks. They have mattresses. Like today, if you come today at 3, you're going to get those mothers doing gym. We have employed a gym officer who comes on Thursday and Fridays. And the pregnant mothers, we have seen that we rarely get cesarean sections because they are very few. Because they are taught their gyms and so on. This is the music for gym. So they come and pick, and they know they are around by the company has allowed them 1.5 hours for gym.
A strong case was made for maternity rights to be given to the women farm workers.
It is my right as a woman to become pregnant, and it is not wrong. But you find us as a worker, as a woman worker, when I become pregnant, it's an offense.
there are many areas where women suffer. First of all, I would like to talk about maternity protection. Women do not get enough maternity protection. In fact, before this year, women were getting only something like 45 days maternity leave and nothing more, no paid maternity leave. Sometimes they work, they are given those days, but they are also asked to come back to work again before the maternity leave ends.
A woman is pregnant and is working until 8.5 months in order for her to take a leave. And she's not being given maternity leave. We just go, give birth, and then you come back. And you find at times someone gives birth and then she comes back after 1 week, leaving the baby with someone, and that leads to deaths.
At this conference, many issues have been raised and discussed, and at this stage, lots of suggestions are being made about working towards solutions to some of these issues.
So the message basically is enough is enough.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
We are tired.
Yeah. I want to come back to you because your research has really brought up some critical issues. Because what we're finding now in the tea plantations, for example, in Tanzania, is that this sexual harassment is no longer constrained with women workers. It also boils out or into the women workers' children who are living with them, who happen to be in the compounds, who either get dragged into work as child labor and then get abused. We need to look at educating our workers to be able to, which is what Filipina was saying, first of all, to be able to understand, to become aware, to be able to engage. What do you think about that? What kind of education do you think might be able to help fight for improvements at the workplaces?
Yeah, what we are doing right now, we have, as I said earlier, that we tailor our education according to the research findings that we get.
Yes.
So we have seen that there is a lot of sexual harassment, there is low pay, there is no maternity protection, generally the working conditions are poor. So we look at the labor laws in the country. We are lucky that in 2006 our government passed very good labor laws.
Okay.
So now we have a booklet on labor laws simplified for the workers, which has been produced by the National Center. We use that as one of our educational materials. Then we have also developed our own educational materials, which has all those issues included, which also brings in the awareness to the workers that you are working in those farms because you also contribute to the economy. And therefore, when you are working in these farms, you have to see how important you are. And therefore, you must know your rights so that you are able to claim for that which is rightfully yours. We bring in both women and men. We put a few men in the workshops so that the men should understand these things and be able to get out of that vice. Yeah. We have even gone to the extent of planning for a leafleting campaign, which we are going to do next month.
Okay.
We are going to do a leafleting campaign on sexual harassment and maternity protection, because these are areas where women are really not gaining anything at all. On one day, they distribute all the leaflets, the leaflets on sexual harassment to all the farms and to all the managements and to all the workers, so that everybody gets to be aware of what really we want.
The wage they get is not enough to cover the cost of their families. So even the union is insisting on establishing the savings and the credit cooperative society. You know, when you are a member of SACCOS, you are assured of contributing. So you can be a member and later you have enough money to meet your cost of the family.
We believe the more women participate in leadership, the more women assume leadership positions, then we'll have the presentation at least equally.
If these buyers would consider that they should buy flowers from the farms which produces on internationally accepted labor standards.
Our message to the stakeholders, there are very many stakeholders in this thing. We have people that do the auditing, we have consumers, we have the supermarkets, we have the auctions, And then we have the workers, we have the unions, and we have the governments as well are involved. My message is to the consumers, please, when you hear about poor working conditions, do not boycott. Do not boycott the buying of flowers, because that means you are contributing to the death of the children of these workers, to the death of some of these workers, because that is their livelihood. All we need is to join hands and fight the evils that are in the workplaces.
So many thoughts from everything that you've said, and thank you. When I started this journey, I had lots of questions about the whole process of how flowers are grown, picked and arrive at my door, and I've had lots of answers. When I look at flowers, I still love the beauty and the fragrance and how they make me feel. But as a woman, I appreciate them much more now, because I've seen the labour of love, and it is labour, all the work that the women and everybody involved in the process put in, and the hardships that they endure. But I'm not downhearted by that, because now I know that, particularly if I buy ethically sourced and grown flowers, that the money that I pay helps to reward those women that I've met on my journey.
I've still got a lot to think about everything that I saw and everything that I've learned. It was an amazing experience.